What it do, baby? What's going on, people? Happy New Year. You already know it's
Happy
a
New
vibe
Year.
at the 115, bringing you live from 2024, baby. Let's go. What's good? What's good? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling, bro?
Bro, blessed and highly favored
That's
always
what's
in
going
all the
on.
ways,
That's what's
bro.
up,
Blessed and
bro.
highly favored, man.
We bringing the
Feeling abundant.
Hey, peace and abundance here, wealth and abundance, everything, man. We bringing new vibes this year, man. This is the boy Chris, the homie Chris. Welcome up. Want to introduce the people?
Wholeness.
Yes, sir, man. Shoot, Kwame. Let them know your name, bro.
Bro, it's Kwame Davis Brown. If y'all ain't know, then y'all know.
Haha, that's exactly. And you already know. It's your boy Meech, you know what I'm saying? King Meech, King David, everything, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
That's what we do, you know what I'm saying? Big time, big moves. But anyways, y'all, we got the homie Chris here today, man. We got an awesome episode planned for y'all today. Honestly, man, it's been a long time in the making, but you know, this is the third part of the 115 crew. And so Chris, my man, like, go ahead and let the people know about yourself, bro. What you do?
Yeah, so I go by InfiniteVibes. Majority of you probably know me by that. You may have seen my YouTube channel or see me on, social media. What I do is I do a lot of, the background esoteric stuff that happens in the industry, in regards to, just helping people how to, just breathe easier and live a better life. So, that's what the Infinite Vibes is about. I've been traveling around the United States of America for a while, and, that's the work I've been doing. I also make music, and I also love to have a good time. And like Meech said, man, it's a vibe at the 115. So, of course, the Infinite Vibes is going to come to the 115.
You already know. You already know. You know what I mean?
Already know, bro.
Yeah.
Already part of the tribe, for real. Like,
For real.
on me.
On me, brother, on me. Yes, sir, man. So, dog, I know with Infinite Vibes, bro, like, you got your YouTube channel. If there's some people who aren't aware, bro, I know you do a lot of human design. Can you kind of explain to us, like, what that is and, all the process of it?
Yeah. So human design is basically a combination of all esoteric studies into one, and it gives you a blueprint, right?
Okay.
So, I'm pretty sure you guys are both familiar with, astrology, numerology.
I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Gatorade.
That type of thing, right? So it's kind of like, all right, but all of these, it's like, okay, it's cool because your mind knows, right? But like, what can you actually do with this type of stuff? And, it creates a combination, right? And, a lot of these studies have been, put together over time. So, yes, it may be something that, is new in the scene, but the practices and all the things that, put together your cosmic blueprint have been here since, damn near like the Dogon tribe, like it goes all the way back, so, like I said, it's a combination of your astrology, numerology, your meridian points. It talks about your chi, your chakra points, all of that. So, I basically utilize human design, right? I know I talk about it, but I utilize it as a tool to help people to basically decondition, to get back in touch with themselves, So, yes, I may talk about it because I want people to have the education and the knowledge to do this thing on their own.
Yeah.
Because I think in this day and age, there's a lot of like spiritual gurus. There's a lot of people out there that create these cults, and people tend to follow them. And, it's almost vampiric in a sense, right? Where, and I think, hey, if you vibrate with certain people and you guys mesh and it's healthy, then, go ahead and, create that, that union, that cult type of, expansive, right? But like, for those who don't really want to do that, but they're new on their journey, their spiritual journey, they don't know where to look or what to do, they tend to just kind of like, go, follow whatever, people say. And, this is basically a tool that you can utilize for yourself, and it allows you to lead yourself as opposed to following other people.
Other outside factors telling you, oh, this is how you should think. It's like, nah, let me go according to who I am as a person, which is deep, man. It's deep. Yeah, so exactly. How did you get into this, bro? Like, what got you on this path?
Yeah, so what got me onto like the spiritual path, or like
just I guess all of it, bro. Your human design, spiritual path, but more specifically, this what drew you into this world where you're like, man, like I know I could really do this. I could help people. I could.
Yeah, absolutely. So what drew me into this path, honestly, is I've been traveling around, a lot, and I think there's just like this influx of people in the world, who want to be illuminated right now, and I think that I would be doing a disservice if I wasn't sharing this type of, wealth with them,
Yeah.
like this type of, science with them, because like I said, a lot of times I see people step outside of themselves because they think, hey, this is what I need to do to, be more spiritual. And sometimes it ends up being detrimental to their health, and I mean, the first time you guys met me, right? Like, I was kind of like in an environment, like that, right?
Yeah,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
So in our earlier
Yeah.
episodes, we had mentioned that tribe shall not be named.
Hey,
The tribe that shall
yeah,
not
the
be
tribe that shall
named.
not be named.
That be
Yeah,
named, bro.
yeah.
You
So-
mentioned them folks.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you guys saw it, right?
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
guys saw
bro.
it firsthand how it's kind of like,
It's toxic, bro.
it's a bit toxic
Yeah.
because it's kind of like, if you don't do what we're doing, then, you're not good, or you're not,
Exactly.
right enough, or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, you're just like, you're not really, spiritual or
Exactly.
whatever. But the fact is, as long as you're breathing, you are having a spiritual experience, because the breath is that's the spirit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
So,
exactly.
like, if it doesn't matter what, like, you could be a crackhead on the side of the road shooting up, and that's your spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're breathing.
Exactly.
You know what
Bro,
I mean? Like,
bro, that is deep, because it always reminds me to this like Bible verse, or not even a Bible verse, but just when it said, "Hey, when God created man, the last thing He did was pour His Spirit into man," and it's like, bro, right then and there, that's like we are like have the essence of God having a spiritual experience, bro, which is deep, it's nuts, man, it's super nuts. But yeah, bro, go ahead and get into that, bro. I know you've been trying to.
yeah. We're having a little bit of
I know,
technical
bro. Been trying to play
difficulties.
limbo with the mic.
We playing limbo.
bro, really trying to play limbo with the mic for a minute.
Hey, that's how you know it's a vibe.
Exactly, bro. Out here playing. I know, right? We gotta. Bro, out here playing limbo. But yeah, bro. But nah, bro. That's dope. It's deep, man. I like that, and I think a lot of people need to hear that, bro. Especially at that, with how the world is today. I feel like, bro, it's a lot of. I feel like people aren't even aware about a lot of like just entities and things that are honestly around, right? When you have your positive spiritual experience, you also got the negative, and the negatives are floating around. So it's like it's great to have folks, you know what I'm saying, like you talk about this, really kind of get people hip, and just not even no religion thing, but just honestly try to connect yourself to a source, right? Because at the end of the day, when there's something that we're trying to achieve in this life or do. I know a lot of like the great people who've gotten there. They always talk about like having that source, the divine energy, something that holds you together, that holds you tight, bro. So,
I mean, and overall, man, there's really no right or wrong, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I like this modality, because it's whatever your strategy and authority is. So,
Yes.
like what is right to me might not necessarily be
right
right
to
to
somebody
you.
else.
You know what I'm saying? And so this allows you to be in your uniqueness.
Yeah.
Like if you are a Muslim, a Christian,
Yep.
a Buddhist, and that, wholeheartedly,
Yeah.
that is what, within yourself
Exactly.
lights you up, or, feels right to you. That somebody coming along and be like, no, that's wrong.
Exactly.
Like, you can't, that's not the way to go.
And
Like,
that's why I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
like that's why I like it, bro, because it's like no no religion thing. It's like you understand there's one source
Yeah.
to that helps talk, like that speaks to you. You
yeah,
know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Which is
I
dope.
mean, this modality has actually
Yeah.
taken me to like to church-like environments, to making Islamic friends,
Yeah.
and it's allowed me to like learn about the various
Different.
religions, but like I said, if somebody has they go into this and they if to them it's like, hey, this is what works for me, and they just want to be
Yeah.
a Christian or a
Or-
Muslim
yeah.
or whatever, like that's what works for them. Hey, like then, but yeah, that works for you, man. Like I'm not gonna go into like the indoctrination and the stories and
Yeah, that's a whole nother
that's
topic.
a
Yeah,
whole
it
other
is.
thing,
Yeah.
But that's just everybody has some sort of conditioning. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you're doing in life. The moment you wake up, even while you're asleep, you're picking up conditioning. The
Exactly.
world is not stopping. People are thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? They popping up in your dreams or like whatever. Like it just doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like we're always being conditioned, and so just this modality allows you to be like, hey, does this work for me? Is this who I am? Like, does this feel good to me?
Right.
You can experiment with it, right? Some people are designed to do that, right? Because everybody has a different, unique
Yeah.
design. And then for other people, they naturally know what their path is for them, and so forth and so on. But that's kind of why I really, really like this modality. That's why I use it as a tool
Yeah.
to basically help people go down their spiritual journey. It's not the end all be all. It's
Exactly.
actually just the start
Yeah.
of the entire process.
Yeah, bro. No, I like how you said that. Actually, you said something that was that made me kind of think, bro. Within human design and religion, have you like? Is there any type of commonality that you've like found within those two, or something where like whether you went to Islam, like Islamic place, a Christian setting, or whatever, have you found something within human design that like it has commonality with all these?
Yeah, I mean, with human design, the first step of it is understanding your aura,
Mm.
right? Understanding your design. Second part is deconditioning. Now,
Mm.
this is usually the hardest part
Mm.
because it's not like, oh, I know my astrology now,
Right.
I'm good to go. You feel me? Like, this is kind of like now you're having to hold yourself accountable, where it's like, okay, there may be traumatic, experiences you've had in your life, that forces you to operate a certain type of way. And then the third step after that is where I think it gets very religious,
Mm.
is because it gets down to the molecular aspect of things.
Mm.
What do all these religions have in common? Everybody breathes.
Mm.
Everybody goes into an environment and then they speak.
Agreed.
They do their, forgive me if I butcher this word, but fajr, their prayer. You got what I'm saying? Like you go into an environment with a lot of other beings, a lot of other designs, and then you're all emitting a certain vibrational frequency out into the environment in these buildings, right? And that has usually antennas
Yeah.
that pull energy from the ethers, pulls it down into the environment, and what's charging it up are the designs, the people inside of those environments. So and all of it at the end of the day is just like a form of breath. Like I said, spirit is all about like you're spiritual as long as you're breathing. So if you're going to an environment and you're breathing with other people, then that in a sense is like a spiritual experience. So it doesn't matter if you're at church or at the mosque, and when I say it gets molecular, this is where the components come into place, like hydrogen, right? We breathe in air because of hydrogen molecule. We drink water. There's hydrogen molecules in it. Hydrogen is a key component. Nitrogen. We need nitrogen because of the enzymes that we use. It helps build the proteins within our bodies. And ultimately what we put inside of ourselves is going to influence the external reality as well, right? Then you have carbon, which is, like melanin, sun gazing, all that type of stuff. And every single human being has this type of thing within them. However, because we're beings of resonance and vibration, these things can be altered, right? And then it can allow people to go down a specific path. So when you go into these settings and everybody's vibrating at a specific frequency, singing a song,
Yeah.
saying a prayer together, it's affecting the vibrational wave, the emotional wave, as we call it in human design. And, then it affects everybody around you, So so the third part of it is where I think it gets very religious because it goes down to a molecular level.
So I was gonna say it almost sounded like you were saying like that commonality almost sounds like in a way worship where it's like whether you're breathing or you with other people in space in the church, it's like a form of worship.
Yeah.
That be like the commonality of sorts. That's dope, man. That's cool, bro. Shoot, Q, you got any questions, brother?
Bro, I would say that I found some resonance of what you were saying, and in accordance to what we said in our last podcast when we were talking about some conspiracies and things of that nature,
Yeah.
especially when we talk about what we eat, right? Like how you said that what we eat, because honestly, what we eat is our DNA, and like just like diving into that alone shows the importance of what you eat and how important the government and those powers that be tend to manipulate what we eat. So I that resonated with me like greatly, honestly, when you said that. In alignment to the human design, yeah, I always attribute it always whenever we talk about source, I always attribute it to God. That is how I define it, or I am. That is how I define it. But yeah, breath is that is Whew, that is deep. I remember when I used to work as a seller for technology that went bankrupt called Enjoy Technology. Shout out to Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Uh,
They ain't enjoy it no more.
yeah, word.
Sad.
One of the things that that stuck with me is that one of my mentors, he told me to write the things that I'm most grateful for whenever I started my day. And he said that the first thing that he wrote always is that I'm thankful for my breath, because without breath, then there is no life.
Exactly.
Because if you're not grateful for your breath, like he was like, say everything, three things that you're grateful for, and like if you don't put it down, then you're okay with living without it. And I wrote down all this other X stuff, and he was just like, well, mine is breath, because without breath, I wouldn't survive. So everything you said, you would die from, from not breathing.
Yeah, you
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
wouldn't be able to have any of these experiences.
Exactly.
But, you know what I mean?
That's
Facts.
the number one, man. That's the number one thing right there, bro. That's bro. It's deep how you said that, bro. For real.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the thing is like, like I said, we won't be able to experience any of this. You know, like
Exactly.
it doesn't matter, you know, what religion you got going on. It's
Exactly.
like if you're not breathing, you can't even go experience. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even know. You know,
I mean,
what I mean? Like,
consciousness is done, bro.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's out of there, and you know
Yeah.
that's why, you know, even all the holy books, they talk about this higher being breathing.
Exactly.
You know, and that's like one of the first things that it does, you know, and that's kind of how we were able to come about to be, right? Just going down into that, you know, that type of reality, you know, that type of, conditioning that we, you know, that society has given us. And it's not bad. You know, I think a lot of people are like, oh, this is good and this is bad. It's just like none of this would be happening if consciousness wasn't able to experience itself, right? I like to attribute this to like, you know, I don't agree with homelessness. I don't agree with famine. I don't agree with war, right? But it happens. You know what I mean? And the fact that it's happening is because consciousness needs to experience itself. You know, like, you know, it's experiencing itself through that. You know, the beings that are coming into these vessels, right, that allow us to like walk through this realm, through this plane, right? They are basically, you know, utilizing the breath to have that experience, you know, and out of that, amazing things can happen. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, not to get into politics, but this situation that's happening at the Gaza Strip right now, right? A lot of people have been wanting me to speak on it. You know, I've been very reluctant. And, you know, and they're all like, what about the children? What about the kids? And then I sound cold-hearted when I say this, but they chose to have that experience. And what I mean by that is like, they are coming in at a time that is going to bring about a massive change to this planet, to this plane. And it's because of what they're going through right now that later on in life, those that, you know, manage to survive and make it through are going to be able to influence the world around us in a negative or in a positive way. But there's going to be some form of influence, because children going through a war-torn country growing up in those type of times, you know, it's going to condition them in a certain type of way. Their reality, their strategy and authority is going to be different than, you know, people who are living in an environment that is a bit more safe, you know, a bit more, you know, okay, you know, you kind of know, you know, what to expect, you know, you have your safety nets and all that type of stuff, you know, but at the end of the day, it's happening. It's happening. We have to take the good with the bad. And I think that's, you know, another thing that human beings, we tend to, you know, shy away from. We're always wanting to, you know, focus on all the good stuff, but without the bad, you know, there's no evolution for our species, you know, and, you know, that's, you know, like I said, I don't agree with it. It might sound cold-hearted, but it's happening. You know, whether we like it or not, these experiences are happening to people in the world. You know, is it just, is it right? You know, I'm not the person to say that,
Right.
but it does happen.
No,
you know?
I feel that, bro, and that's when the conversation gets to like that ethical and all that kind of, you know, all those things. It's a vibe at the
115.
That's
115.
right. It's a vibe at the 115. All right. So, question for you, bro. With human design, like understanding human design, bro, like how can this help? You know, people's like like personal relationships or professional ones. Like, how can they use that to kind of help their relationship with other people?
Yeah, so we do it with ourselves, right? Like, we know each other's design, so it really helps us to, like, you know, honor everybody's uniqueness, right? You know, so for example, you know, like we said, like you have that solar plexus defined, so you put energy into motion into the environment, right? I'm not somebody who has that, but when I come around you, you're able to like spark that type of energy. Like we'll go out, and I mean, Meech will break it down on the dance. You think it's a vibe? It's a vibe at the 115. Like he'll start breaking it down on the dance floor, and then we just end up, doing that. Like I'm talking about everybody in the immediate environment is like, influenced by that defined solar plexus. You get what I'm saying? But in terms of relationship, it's like, yeah, I honor you where you're at. I'm not going to try to like change your experience. I'm going to honor your uniqueness because I understand your design. I understand your uniqueness, where it's like, okay, I may say something and, they might not want to do it, rather than getting upset or mad. It's like, okay, you're going to process this.
This is how you.
Yeah, this is how you operate. You know what I'm saying? And like you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's constantly like trying to change you and trying to have you to be a certain type of way. When it's like, how can you change your blueprint? How can you change, the way you're designed? The only way that can happen is if you decide, hey, this does not light me up. This does not work for me. I need to change that within myself, as opposed to somebody outside being like, I don't like the way you eat. I don't like the music you listen to. I don't like the clothes you wear. Like because you look like this or like that, it means you're this, or your education or whatever. Like all this is like conditioning, where it's just like, do people, like what is working for you really, and that's why, utilizing this tool in your relationship, in your business, and even, with your personal self is extremely important. Because, I'm not gonna, like people who have like open centers, they're receptive to things, a lot more, right? Than people who have defined centers, they're putting energy out into the environment. So knowing, okay, my partner has these centers open, they're receiving, information from here, I'm not going to like try to tell them, hey, that's false, that's wrong. I'm not going to try to control them. And honestly, relationships are all about allowing each other to fully express themselves, in their most authentic way, and everybody's going to continuously change and evolve. As long as we're breathing, we're going to evolve, change, and adapt. So we're never going to be the same person, we are, several years down the line from now, because of all the conditioning we're going to pick up on,
Definitely, bro. That's cool. That's definitely cool to hear, bro. So you had mentioned like the certain human designs. Can you kind of go through them for the audience, for people who don't know? What is that?
Yeah. So human design, there's aura types, right? So you have the generator, which is the sacral authority. So that's like creative, expansive, energy. Like you gotta think about your sacrals and your sex organs. So it's sexual. It's kind of like, think of it as like, how can I have sex with life? And then when things happen out of it, that's the orgasm. So with sacral authorities, I like to use that analogy a lot, is like, how can you get as creative as possible? Because sex is just creation, right? So sacral authorities are here to create. That's the generator. And they create by responding. They respond to the things that are happening in society around them. So majority of the population are actually generators. Most people are designed to respond. All right. Then you have the second aura type, which is the manifester. So our species evolved, and we're like, all right, we can't just wait around here and, do nothing. We got to make things happen. This is where the manifestors come into play. They're like, hey, if we rub these stones together, we can have fire, and now the generators come in, they're like, ooh, fire. And then they're like, what can we do with this? And they get creative. They have their little drum circles, and they cook their stuff around the fire. Like, just to paint a picture, right? Yeah. Then we evolve again, and now we're into the space where we have projectors, right? And the projectors are here to guide the energy. It's like, okay, we created fire, we're responding to that, but how can we guide this in a way that is like conducive for society, and the thing about projectors is they need to be invited in, usually they are, where it's like, and because they have attractive auras, right? So let me go back to the manifestor real quick. I spoke on the generator, but the manifestor has initially it's a standoffish aura, because they have this knowing. They're not here to be told what to do. So if you have a manifestor aura, it's okay, like you're not stubborn, you don't have any ADHD or bipolar issues, you're not really dealing with those type of things. It's just you see a future that a lot of people in the world can't necessarily begin to understand, and you can't even really explain to them how, to bring it about. So it's important that you go ahead and take the action to bring this about. Whoever resonates with you will follow you. You know what I mean? And then for the projectors, again, they have attractive auras. So these are the people, they're just, they just catch your eye. They could be dressed in the simplest way. They don't even have to really do anything. They're just like this oozing aura of attractiveness around them, where it's just like you want to invite them in. You want to hear their guidance. And then the last one is the reflector, which is the smallest amount of the population. Michael Jackson was a reflector. So I like to use him as an example, right? When he was on stage and everybody was screaming in that sold out stadium,
and then where he was like,
he was not moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he absorbed all of that. He turned his head,
they
and
said,
people fainted.
Straight
That
up.
is the power of a projector right there.
Yeah.
They basically
reflector.
a reflector.
Yeah.
Sorry, a reflector. They basically pull in all that. They absorb all of this, right?
Yeah.
So imagine like somebody being on stage like that, absorbing all that energy, and then looking at you, and it just gets sent right back to you. Obviously, you're gonna faint. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really gonna be able to, handle it, right? But the reflectors are here to experience life.
Random question.
Yeah.
What do you think was going on through that man's mind, standing up on stage like that?
He was absorbing all the energy.
Like, just
man.
like, hey, what's up? Like, you had a whole crowd just
Yeah, just feigning, man. I mean, yeah, that was a powerful epitome of somebody utilizing their aura, where it's just like, okay, how does it here, I'm gonna let you know how it feels to be me right now. And it's so powerful that it causes people to faint. Like, can you imagine that? And that's what reflectors go through on a daily basis. Like, so it's not just Michael Jackson, man. If you're a reflector out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying when you guys absorb all of this stuff, and a lot of times you're like, what is me? What isn't? You're here to reflect all of it back to us. So, whatever is you is in your immediate environment. So I always urge reflectors, you want to watch your environment, the people and we were talking about digestion, diet earlier, right? It's not just food, it's your environment, it's the people, places, and things. So all of that is like what you're digesting into your body, because you're basically a sponge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Through all the senses, right?
Yeah.
Like through all five senses is how we absorb. So, I mean, we absorb in other ways as well, but it tends to be through all five senses in a logical standpoint. But it's interesting that you brought that up. Well, what about Prince? Was Prince a reflector too?
I'd have to look at his design. I don't think he was a reflector though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember. So where in this linear timeline did manifesting generators come about?
So manifesting generators. So what makes a manifestor, right? So a manifestor has a defined the throat motor. The reason why it's the manifestation motor is because when you see things, you're pulling it in, right? When you hear things, you're hearing it from outside. When you speak, that's the one thing that's coming outside of you, apart from like your feces and like your sweat and all that type of stuff, right? So when you speak, and this is why they say, oh, watch what you say, because when you speak, you manifest, right? So a manifesting generator is somebody who has a sacral that connects to the throat motor. So they basically will initiate upon response. So they still have the generator, and that's why I still label them as generators, because they need to respond first. They will initiate upon response. So manifesting generators are more like the innovative type, where it's like they're quick to move. They may skip steps when they're doing things, and that's natural to them, right? And you want to honor that. You want to honor all the aura types' uniqueness, and that's what I mean by like, okay, I know, for example, somebody's a manifesting generator. I know they're going to skip steps. I'm going to let them go through that process. And they didn't ask me for, guidance. So I'm not going to force that guidance upon them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so you're able to honor that relationship. The same thing with the projector. They're attractive people. They have all the guidance in the world, and it's kind of like, okay, you want, sometimes they'll come and they'll try to guide you when you're not necessarily ready to hear the guidance, right? And they, they could be speaking facts. God, source, spirit, whatever could be sitting right there on the couch with you and be like, hey, this man is goddamn right. You better listen to this dude, But if you're not ready to hear it, then you're not ready to hear it, right? And a lot of times, like, people might feel like, why am I even speaking? Why am I even telling people this stuff? If they're not gonna listen to me, right? But that in itself is like, okay, who is listening to me? And that's who you want to surround yourself with as a projector, because that's like, okay, they're willing to take my guidance. They're willing to hear what I have to say. I'm not gonna try to like go convince somebody else to follow my guidance, like that. So in a way, it protects you from wasting your time, in relationships and in businesses and in partnerships, right? The same thing with manifestors. Manifestors typically need that space to be alone. They need that period to, they need to go out there, get innovative, and then come back. So if you're in a relationship with a manifestor type of person, letting them have the freedom to do things. You don't want to like be like, no, you gotta like, we gotta be like this. You know what I mean? Like, they're not designed to do that. You're gonna end up, your relationship is not gonna last. You know what I mean? If you try to go down that path. So, and the thing about generators is, and they're sacred authorities. So get it creative with them as much as possible. Like, for them, it's all about creativity. Just give them things like, and then watch them create something. You'll be surprised. It's like, wow, like this, I just brought these things together, and this person just built a whole, machine. So, yeah.
Shoot, man, that's awesome, bro. I like that. What I guess common challenges, I guess, could people probably face when they're first getting into this, like, human design, and how can they kind of navigate those obstacles?
Yeah, so the hardest thing, like I said, is the second phase. It's the deconditioning phase, because, I'll be blunt. It takes 7 years for somebody to fully decondition, and then 7 years again to recondition. So you're looking at 14 years of your life to even become whole, right? And by the time you get to that point, the world's gonna change, and you're gonna realize, actually, maybe, like, I need to recondition again. So it's a never-ending, process, right? And holding yourself accountable to the deconditioning, where it's like, there might be a stored up trauma, or there might be a stored up experience within your being, that you have a hard time letting go of, or viewing the world in a certain type of way. Deconditioning from that, holding yourself accountable, and just, going through the motions is the hardest part, because people will come to me, I'll give them to spill the tea, they'll leave feeling great, they'll hit me up a few months later like, oh man, like, my whole world shifted, I'm taking these quantum leaps, like, because when you get out of, like, living, as an NPC, let me just put it that way, as, like, when you get out of, like, you begin to live in your strategy and authority, you might lose people. You might, move out of, places and environments. You might stop, surrounding yourself or doing certain things that you once did, and people know you for that. So they're like, hey man, like, you used to just be, all about this. Now you, all of a sudden, what's going on? You fake, you switching up, and it's just like, nah, man, like, you're deconditioning, your growth, you're growing, you're evolving. You realize that this is not healthy for me. It's not helping me operate in a good way, in a way that's very positive and impactful. So I'm moving out of that, and I'm going somewhere else, and so. And the thing is, people usually end up catching on later down the line, so
what you was trying to do.
Yeah, what is it trying to do? So.
Man, and that's like, it's great that you said that, because that kind of goes into the next, like, question anyways, what's about self-awareness, right? So when you're in this journey, it's like it increases your self-awareness, because it starts with you. You start, like you said, it's like whatever lights up within you, right? Wherever you feel like, oh man, I don't feel great about that, or like, who knows, maybe I should try it this way, man. And I think that's honestly, again, just like that self-growth, self-awareness, it really just helps have you in tune with who you are, your authentic self, really. And it kind of speaks to that.
I would use the stronger word is the self-acceptance, rather than just the self-awareness, like, you know what I mean? Like, because without that self-acceptance, then in truth there really cannot be any growth, because you can know something, but the self-acceptance is the implementation of the change required. So I would add that.
Self-authenticness, whatever you want to call it. It's like, it's true to you at the end of the day, right?
I mean, like I said, man, and we human beings change up so much, right? That's why I'm always like, these people that come out and they're like, you have to eat a certain type of way, and you can only listen to a certain type of music or whatever. It's just like, man, get out of there with that, because you know your body might need something right now, right? And maybe granted there might be a healthier way to get it, but this
Yeah.
is how you're conditioned to know, hey, this is what I need. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, you're gonna go down
Yeah.
that route. You're gonna, choose to, utilize that modality to get whatever it is that you need. And sometimes you need to feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Like you need, like, I think it's good if you're angry, go be angry for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then come back out, as long as you're not hurting
Of
anybody.
course.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, because this is how, like, again, like, this is that spiritual trap, right?
Yeah.
Like, where it's just like, okay, I gotta stop. I gotta, eat this type of way. All right, cool. So you've changed up your entire diet. You used to eat a certain type of way. You went cold turkey. You switched it up. Okay, your body's going through the withdrawals. Okay, cool. Once you get to a point where maybe you feel healthy enough, okay, and you're like, okay, like, cool, I went through that detox phase. You're gonna go back into that phase where, okay, I need to get things done. And what was working initially is like, okay, I need some more density to do some heavier work. So you're gonna have to put in, a larger amount of density into your body to make things happen.
Yeah.
And so, again, like, I think it's very important to, be able to, like, honor yourself. It doesn't matter what that looks like to other people. And this is why I'm saying, like, a lot of people fall into these cults and then they end up, like, looking drained, like, and that's why I called it vampirism initially, because it's like, oh, this guy, okay, so he appears, to look like this and he lives like this and this is what's working for him. Great. He followed his uniqueness, or she followed her uniqueness, and that created the reality for them. You're coming in, looking at their uniqueness, being like, yeah, I'm gonna do their uniqueness, and that's gonna work for me. And then when it's not working for you, you're like, what's going on, man? Like, then you start going into psychosis, where it's just like, I'm doing everything wrong. There's something wrong with me. Like, you're dealing with all this type of stuff, and it's just like, man, like, you just gotta do what lights you up. If you wake up and you're like, I want to go to the beach today, everybody's like, hey, we're gonna go do this other thing. You're like, nah, I'm doing that today. Go ahead and do it. What I mean? Like, don't wait, or don't think because other people aren't doing something, like, you're wrong. And then
Yeah.
that again, that's why I use this modality, because these spiritual traps are real. Like, they do
Yeah.
exist.
I mean, it's like what religion kind of makes people fall into, right? And that's the reason why sometimes, and it's not me knocking any religion, by the way, or anything like that. So don't take it as that. But sometimes some people get in their certain ways where it's like, nah, because he's doing it like this, I can't do it like that or whatever. And it's like, nah, like, as we talk about it, at the end of the day, it's like you know that you're having your own personal experience. It's like personally for me, I believe in God as well, right? So I know how God talks to me. It's not gonna be the same
Yeah.
how he talks to somebody else,
Yeah.
So I can't be like, oh man, but it's like, nah, bro. Like, I'm not in him and them and God's, like, conversation. I don't know how they talk it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can only speak to how me and God be talking and how he moves, like, in my life. So yeah, bro, I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the angel number thing is
Yeah.
like, right? So somebody will be like 999
Yeah,
6, and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, all right, but that's their conversation. That's them
Exactly.
playing with the world. They're responding to that, right? They're like, okay, I'm lit up by this. This means something to me.
Exactly.
To somebody else, it's like, man, like, this
I
don't
don't
mean,
know.
I don't care
Yeah,
about none
right,
of that.
right,
Like, I
yeah.
see these numbers all the time, like,
Right.
so, like, yeah, it's just important to honor everybody's uniqueness. I think that's
Yeah,
what this
yeah.
tool has really helped me to do.
Yeah.
Like, judge people a lot less for one.
Yeah.
I feel a lot less negativity in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to let go. Because it's just
really
like,
is, man.
because now okay, I'm a generator, I'm a projector, I'm a manifester, I'm a reflector. Play with it, like,
Yeah.
play and get paid for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is what you doing, man.
Yes,
What
sir.
you doing. So I guess last question for you, bro. Like, since like, how are there any success stories that that you've had, like, someone or at least, like, kind of give them and have them understand this whole human design thing and like the impact, the great impact that it had on them?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's like thousands of people that I've helped, and like I said, a lot of them are in the industry, I will use this one example though. Lisa, she's a real estate agent, and she was in a point in her life where, she wanted to revamp her business. And, I was like, okay, book a month with me. By the end of the month, you know, your life is going to change, transform. And if it doesn't, you can, give me I'll give you your money back, pretty much, And so, we basically met once a week, for a month, we went through the process. And again, I cater to everybody's uniqueness, right? So, I looked at her design, and then I was just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, so some of the practices that I did with her, are a bit different than I did with some other people. Just giving her unique design and her unique blueprint, and she completely revamped her business. She took a quantum leap. She was working, like a lot of various, real estate endeavors. She was, project managers, and, you're just handling a lot of like property management and stuff like that. And she's just like, after we went through the modality, she was having like five, six different endeavors. She ended up taking a quantum leap, finding the one that paid her the same amount as all of them, and then combined. And then so she's making more money now than and she's working less, which is what she was saying to me, was like, I want to work less, but I like the money that I'm making. And so we went through, the process for the month, and then I let her go. And even during the month, she would come back and be like, oh my God, I did this changed for me. I did that. This changed for me. And every session was, different, Yeah. And so by the end of the month, she still hits me up to this day, and she's just like, yo, thank you so much for, helping me out with my business. I'm making a lot more money. I'm living stress free, and, so forth and so on. Now she's able to go into new endeavors that she's wanted to do, but she needed to decondition from, how she was taught on how to do business. Right. And, I know a lot of times I'll step into rooms, and, there'll be successful business people, right? And, they'll listen to what I have to say, and then they'll say that, it's bullshit, or, where's his successful business? And, I'm a multimillionaire. I'm doing this, that, and the third. And it's just like, yeah, but are you happy? Are you living a stress-free life? And this service is not for you, honestly. Because obviously you're doing something that's working out for you. You're making that money, so that's cool, right? But again, not everybody, like, your blueprint is not going to work for the next person. And that was the case with this person, right? She was looking at the blueprint of other people, going into the conditioning. Oh, this is how it's supposed to work. This is how it's supposed to operate. And when she decided, you know what, I'm going to step into my uniqueness. I'm going to play with this. Yeah. I'm going to have fun. And she started making more money, spending more time with family. And, she's extremely happy. She's traveling, she's doing the things that she wants to do. So, and that goes for a number of people. I can mention so many people, that I've basically like helped work with, that, they're just like, okay, I'm using my design now, and I'm seeing the shifts. Everything is transforming in my reality, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot more fun. There's a lot less stress. And the best part is some of these influencers actually, now they are able to influence other people around them, and it's helping them out so much more. So that's what I like about it. It's like, one person can't change everything, but if one person can help somebody change something, that person's going to help somebody else change something, and then it just creates like a spread where a domino effect where the individual circuit influences the tribal circuit will then influence the collective circuit, as opposed to the collective influencing the tribe and the tribe influencing the individual, because that the other way around is, it's not conducive, because then you got people feeling bad about themselves, because it's not what society is
set up, or
set up,
make it seem like, oh, this is what you got to attain. Nah, bro, that's cool, man. That's dope, bro. So where can you tell the people, again, Infinite Vibes? I know you got your business. You want to let them know where they can hit you up at?
So I am part of the 115. So you guys are probably going to be seeing me a lot more, on in these videos, as it aligns. We're all very busy people, but you can find me at on Instagram _InfiniteVibes with a Z at the end. It's the same thing on Twitter. It's the same thing on YouTube. It's the same thing on Threads. You know, and you know, I have a link to my Patreon and those over there. And you know, if you're interested in any of my services, you can click on, you know, the links on my page. But you know, that's where you're gonna find me. You know, and you know, you just hit me up. You can also send me a DM, and you know, we can definitely, you know, just go from there. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love to hear it, man.
And it was interesting when you were talking about how there's like a select order. When you said it, it reminded me like of a puddle, like when you drop a puddle and then you see the ripples.
Yeah.
And like it's like the micro to the macro, and like if the micro is not handled, then the macro will crumble and vice versa, kind of thing. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
but
bro.
but yeah, bro, I think it's that time, right?
It is, man.
I think it's
So,
that time.
shoot, bro. So, oh man, we're running low on time, but it's cool. So, that being said, man, let's just new year, new us. You hear all that all the time. But,
Yes, sir.
But man, let's just kind of look back at you know, like honestly, just and for you, even you guys viewing, just take a look back at where you come from, how far you come, the achievements that you've achieved, and the lessons that you learned, man.
But even before that, we would love to hear from y'all. Like, comment in the section below. You know, like and subscribe. Please, you know, share it if you feel that you have gained something from it, or that someone, a loved one or a stranger even, if they may gain something from it. Please go ahead and share it. We would greatly appreciate it. But do it if it feels right to you.
Yeah, no, that again, like just write those down, write those achievements, like he was just saying. And again, we love to hear from y'all.
Definitely subscribe, because when you subscribe, then we're able to tune into what you guys, you know, want. We're able to cater to you guys a lot more and provide you the type of content that will resonate with you.
Yep.
You know, like you could be going through something, and then all of a sudden a video pops up, and we're speaking about, you know, something that you're going through, and you know, that's what I was talking about, where the collective, the individual, and the tribal circuitry all, you know, are congruent. So, you know, just go ahead and subscribe to that. Click that subscribe button. You know, and you know, just look out for more content from us.
Definitely, that's what this year's about, man. Just growth, evolution, and a lot, man. I think I probably speak for all of us, man. We've you know, come a long way. We've had our lessons where we've learned, bro, where we've grown.
Yes, sir.
Especially this past last year, and the fact that we're just now, now it's being applied, as you can see it. So we got Chris here with the 115, the 115. Just a little tip for y'all. You actually said something pretty dope that reminded me of a book that actually said, like, bar for bar, called The Superior Man. And within that,
great book.
It's an amazing book. And so, but within that book, man, it talked about how it's like, you know, it's like what you said, we're having sex with life, right? And in that book, it's like the same thing, where it's like, in order to really, really, truly, you know, be tuned with what it is in life, it's like you gotta have a sex with it. You gotta have like an orgasm. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds weird. But honestly, that's like that point where it's like you're walking, like you're just so grateful for what it is that you have around you. And so, yeah, honestly, just like reading that book, like hearing you say that and reading that book, man, it's those things once you get yourself aligned, right? Once you get yourself aligned and really understand who you are, what your purpose is, and what you want to do in this life, you'll experience it, and you get to, you know, I guess, have sex with life in the way you want to, right? Whatever you're into. Well, I guess, yeah, but yeah.
Hey, whatever you're into.
Yeah, whatever you're into.
That's a unique experience.
That's a very unique experience, but it's your experience.
I'm a fucking goat.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh.
I mean, the greatest of all time. Okay.
Okay. That's okay. But yeah, y'all. Again, we appreciate you listening to 115.
It's an 8 year, y'all.
8, exactly. Listen to this man. He knows he's the spiritual guru of the group, man. So but yeah, like go ahead and explain them what an 8 year is, bro, real quick.
I mean, now you explained it perfectly, man. Like the 7 year, was last year, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
7 is all about, and 115 equals to number 7, right? And I happen to come, back from my travels and adventures and reunite with the 115 and the 7 year towards the end of it. Like that's my unique experience. I'm a talk about synchronizations and God, but
Mm.
you know, yeah, 7 is all about like just trials and tribulations, evolution. So 7 year like the 7 year was probably very hard for a lot of people, right? It was probably a very a time where people went within themselves, and all that type of stuff. The 8 year is the karma. When I say karma, I'm talking about the cause and effect of
Infinite.
the infinite,
I
yeah,
feel it.
of your 7 year. So whatever you did in your 7 year, like the 8 year can be an extremely prosperous year for you. It's also the year of the dragon for those of you who follow Chinese zodiac, right? And so you know the 8 year is all about abundance, finances, prosperity, but it's really going to depend on the steps you took last year, right? And I'll say for me, I went through a major deconditioning, especially towards the end of the previous collective new year. So stepping into the 8 year, we're a lot more focused. Q, he's the projector. He said this is going to be a year of creativity. We're already creating. This is the first episode on the first day of the year. You get what I'm saying? So, hey, y'all out there, if you had a lot, like, financial difficulties, you had issues last year, I guarantee you this year, things are going to clear up. If you didn't let up, if you, like kept on your journey, on your path, you maintained, your resonance and you just follow what it was that lit you up, you're definitely going to head towards the abundance that the universe is going to serve out to you. So just remember, just be patient, just hold yourself accountable, and it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year for a lot of people, I guarantee you guys. So don't fret. The storm is behind us. We're about to step into all this abundance and prosperity, and just again, play with life, have a good time.
Yeah, man. Shoot. One thing he said, I think that should be emphasized is the patience part, right? Like sometimes I know it's good, like it's always good to create goals, and that's what we should do. Create our goals, make sure they're smart goals, specific, achievable, relevant, time bound goals, and this is good. But sometimes when we do create our goals, we can get too stuck in the how, right? In the how to part. And so I always think like when it comes to that patience, it's like the only thing you can control is being consistent, right? Making sure you're accountable to yourself.
Yep.
And just understanding that when you're doing these things, the how to will work itself out. Don't even worry about anything else. Just you control what you can't control, and the universe, God, the source, whoever will help work that out for you.
Facts. And be present.
Yep.
Be present in your moment.
Yep, all the
Because
time.
with that presence, you're able to realize the steps that you're actually taking.
Exactly.
Because when we see too far in the future, we lose the steps that we're taking in the present.
Exactly.
And we
Exactly.
see, and when we look
steps.
when we look in the past, bro.
We're going working backwards. We don't look in the
Working
past.
backwards.
You just learn from the past, but we don't work from there.
Yeah.
That being said, y'all, anything else to add?
I do want to say this. Like you guys said something extremely important, which was like, sometimes you gotta let go of the how, and that's really like how you take these quantum leaps. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go into an experience. Honestly, the first step to magic is your attitude. So you don't, I'll just speak in regards to, just some of the advice I've given to clients out there is that, you may not know how this is going to happen. You have the vision. You don't know how exactly it's going to happen. Maintain your attitude towards creating that reality for yourself. Maintain the attitude is the first step, because if you have a negative attitude, things aren't going your way. It's going to test your attitude, but attitude is the first step to your magic. So if you're in a negative attitude, you're going to attract negative things towards your reality. If you maintain a positive or a neutral attitude, things are going to go, very well for you. So again, you might not know the way, but the way will present itself as you go on the journey. So, keep that goal, keep that vision in mind. Like they said, stay consistent, as much as possible. But even if you get a bit inconsistent, the road starts getting rocky, you don't know how you're going to figure this stuff out, just keep going. The way will present itself to you. Take the quantum leap. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, exactly, man. Quantum leap, faith.
Gratitude is my favorite attitude.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Man, all right, y'all. So that's actually about it. We kind of out of time, but again, as you know, we're at the Vibetopia. The studio's always looking great. Honestly, to expect from us, we got some events lined up. So be on lookout for that. Again, like, subscribe, follow, share, please. And comment, interact with
let
us.
us know, man.
Let us know how we doing. Let us know your experiences. We want to be involved with y'all. We want to be able to when y'all talk to us, we're able to give back. We're able to see what we can do better. And honestly, just helps with our growth, and that's what we're all about at the end of the day. I know that the growth mountain never stops, you know. So, and we'll keep climbing that mountain, keep climbing that hill. But I'm excited for it because I love the journey. I love this shit. You feel me? I love it. That being said, y'all. We out, bro. It's a vibe at the 115.
I want to end with a deep breath.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's push your stomach out. Inhale through your nose. Hold. Inhale again. Hold. Inhale one more time. And then exhale.
You already know what it is, y'all. We out, baby. 115.
Silence is shot for us, but we silence them. Niggas hate, but they want be us. Jealousy be so fond of us. Presidential on my wrist, now I'm the head of state. Everybody want the fame, but don't know what it take. Can't be your true self, I seek validation. Gotta learn to let go, that's infatuation.